Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm delighted to be here with you today. Though I went to the same high school as John Wesley, I never thought I'd be sharing a sermon in a church of his co-creation. Boris, who's my neighbor, asked me to come and talk about St. Nicholas today, his day. And so here goes. St. Nicholas, a man of the world. The true story of St. Nicholas, who eventually grew into our present-day Santa Claus, begins in the 3rd century in Turkey. Nicholas's wealthy parents raised him as a devout Christian. They sadly died in an epidemic while Nicholas was still young, leaving him a wealthy man. Obeying Jesus' words to sell what you own and give the money to the poor, Nicholas used his whole inheritance to assist the needy, the sick, and the suffering. He dedicated his life to the teachings of Jesus and was made Bishop of Myra, a town on the southern coast of Turkey. As a young man, Bishop Nicholas became known for his generosity to those in need, his love of children, and his concern for sailors and ships. Turtles too. In Nicholas's time, there was a Roman emperor, Diocletian, who ruthlessly persecuted Christians. Bishop Nicholas, amongst many others, was exiled and imprisoned. He died on this day in 343 AD in Myra and was buried in his cathedral. It is said that manna formed in his grave and that this liquid substance had great healing powers. This fostered the growth of devotion to Nicholas. The anniversary of his death became a day of celebration. Today, St. Nicholas's Day. After his death, there were many miraculous stories attributed to Nicholas. He was celebrated as a patron of many, including children, thieves, and even murderers. His kind and generous deeds were done in secret, with no exception of anything in return. Within a century of his death, he was celebrated as a saint. St. Nicholas's feast day, December 6th, is widely celebrated in Europe, kept alive by stories of his goodness and generosity. In Germany and in Poland, boys dress as bishops give alms for the poor. In the Netherlands and in Belgium, Sinterklaas, St. Nicholas, and his Moorish assistant, Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, are said to arrive on a steamship from Spain, and Sinterklaas rides on a white horse on his gift-giving rounds. It is actually December 6th that is still the main day for gift-giving and merrymaking in much of Europe. I'm half Dutch and spent part of my childhood in the Netherlands. I remember that on the eve of St. Nicholas's feast day, December 5th, was the day that my sister and myself put carrots and hay in our wooden shoes, and we put them by the fireplace in the great hope that St. Nicholas would exchange these small gifts of ours for small gifts from him, such as marzipan candies, chocolate initial letters, and others. This practice of simple gift-giving early in Advent helps to preserve a Christmas Day focus on the baby Jesus. Now, how did this kindly Christian saint become the roly-poly, red-suited Anglo-American symbol for merry holiday festivity and commercial activity? History tells us that it was the first Europeans, the Vikings, from the north, who brought St. Nicholas to the New World. They dedicated their cathedral to him in Greenland. And then from the south, Columbus named a Haitian port for St. Nicholas. And in Florida, the Spaniards named the early settlement St. Nicholas, which is now known as Jacksonville. As you might imagine, however, St. Nicholas did not thrive during the 16th century Protestant Reformation, as the Puritans and others like them took a dim view of the saints. The first colonists, primarily Puritans, did not bring St. Nicholas's tradition to the New World. So, what about the Dutch? Turns out there isn't much evidence to indicate the Dutch brought St. Nicholas to New Amsterdam, present-day New York City. What is recorded is that the colonial Germans in Pennsylvania kept the feast of St. Nicholas alive in the Americas. In 1804, the New York Historical Society was founded, and it promoted St. Nicholas as its patron saint, as well as the New York City. In 1809, Washington Irving joined the society, and on St. Nicholas Day, he published a book with numerous references to a jolly St. Nicholas character. He depicted St. Nicholas as an elf-like Dutchman with a clay pipe. So this is the source of the St. Nicholas's legends of New Amsterdam. The New York Historical Society held its first St. Nicholas anniversary on December 6, 1810. An artist was commissioned to create the first American image of Nicholas for the occasion. Nicholas was shown in a gift-giving role with children's treats and stockings hanging by the fireplace. In 1821, we see new elements with the publication of the first lithograph book in America, The Child's Friend. This Santa Claus arrived from the North Pole in a sleigh with a flying reindeer. The illustrated book was pivotal in shifting imagery away from a saintly bishop. Santa Claus rewarded good behavior and punished bad. The book was also notably marked Santa Claus's first appearance on Christmas Eve, rather than December 6th. The jolly elf image received another big boost in 1823 from a poem destined to become immensely popular, A Visit from St. Nicholas, now known as The Night Before Christmas. The poem has had enormous influence on the Americanization of St. Nicholas. During the Civil War, cartoon Thomas Nast began a series of annual black and white drawings in Harper's Weekly, which established a rotund Santa with a flowing beard, fur garments, and an omnipresent clay pipe. His work had considerable influence in informing the American Santa Claus. Along with appearance changes, the saint's name shifted to Santa Claus, a natural phonetic alteration from the German Sankt Nikolaus and the Dutch Sinterklaas. Santa was then portrayed by dozens of artists in a wide variety of styles, sizes, and colors. But by the end of the 1920s, the dominant version of the American Santa, life-sized in a red fur-trimmed suit, had emerged from the work of Norman Rockwell and other popular illustrators. Add another 35 years of Coca-Cola Santa ads, and you have the established Santa as an icon of contemporary commercial culture. By the 1950s, Santa was turning up everywhere endorsing consumer products. This commercial success led to the American Santa Claus being exported around the world, where he threatens to overcome the European St. Nicholas. It's been a long journey from St. Nicholas, who showed his devotion to Jesus and extraordinary kindness and generosity to those in need, to America's jolly Santa Claus, who perhaps is retailer's best friend.
Yeah.
However, if you peel back the layers of time, it is still Nicholas, Bishop of Myra, whose caring surprises continue to model true giving and faithfulness. For indeed, St. Nicholas, lover of the poor, the patron saint of children, is a model for how the followers of Jesus are meant to live. Nicholas put the teachings of Jesus Christ at the center of his life, his ministry, his entire existence. If he were here today, St. Nicholas might ask, what is your gift to the world? If not now, when? If not you, who? After all, giving is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
Happy St. Nicholas's Day.
Yes.